Happy to have a new industry friend, Jason Crawforth, founder, CEO of Swear. Met him at Milestone XPerience Days here in Las Vegas. Jason is an important partner for Milestone, and we're going to learn a little bit more about him and his company. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Hey, listen, you can learn much more about Jason, his company, the technology he's bringing to bear in the link below. My colleague Paul Rothman did a great story back in last year, 2025. Click on that, learn more about Jason. AI-generated content is advancing quickly. We're reaching a point where, we're seeing is no longer believing. I'd like to talk about what that means for trust, security, and the future of video evidence. How close are we to a point where organizations can no longer assume video is authentic?
Well, I think we're already there. So if we actually expand beyond the security and surveillance industry, there's a lot of adjacent and parallel industries that are facing an existential crisis, whether it's the legal industry, the investigations, compliance, audits. What's happening is they're already starting to be inundated with fake video. It's already too easy to modify content and make it look hyper-realistic. I think that's going to cause a problem for the security industry because videos used to be the gold standard in the truth. Now what you have to look at is it's not just saying that something's real, you actually have to prove that it's real. And I think that this is going to keep getting more and more important, that just simply having a video is not enough. If you want that video to be considered evidence, you're going to have to be able to prove that it's authentic and original.
Okay, so on that point, why do you believe proving authenticity may be more important than detecting deepfakes?
Well, I think that if you're focusing on, there's two ways to fight against deepfakes. You can play defense and offense. Defensive methods, forensics, that is important, but that's a perpetual game of cat and mouse and whack-a-mole. And you're going to be constantly chasing against AI. By going on the offense and protecting the authenticity from the moment it's captured all the way to the courtroom, what you're doing is you're actually taking AI out of the equation. You're creating a truth layer that extends the security beyond the asset itself by creating an independent notary that can track the authenticity of content. You're no longer in a perpetual race with artificial intelligence. You actually just take artificial intelligence out of the equation. Defense is still important, but it's a never-ending game, and you're going to be betting against AI.
Give me just a quick, super high elevation look at your technology. You use blockchain. How are you doing this?
Sure. So to create AI-resistant content, there are three things that you have to do. First, as I mentioned, you have to be able to protect the asset from the moment it's captured until all the way it goes to courtroom or compliance or some other C word. That if you wait, you can't wait until the recording's done. You have to protect it during recording, not after. So that's the first thing that you have to do. The second thing you have to do is you have to create an independent chain of custody. With the power of artificial intelligence, you are going to be able to, artificial intelligence is always going to be able to attack the asset itself. It's going to be able to crack the levels of security. By creating an independent chain of custody, by separating the accountant from the auditor, what you're doing is you're creating an independent notary that can detect if something's been changed. And the third thing that you have to do is you have to be able to maintain privacy. You have to be able to do this in place. You can't have videos streaming across the internet and having them being, you have to keep them in place. And so it's an important aspect of, it's those three things that creates AI-resistant recordings.
Okay. Jason, beyond misinformation, where do you see the biggest risks from manipulated video for businesses, security teams, and law enforcement?
Well, I think that we've relied on digital evidence for years. Again, as I mentioned, for compliance and auditors, investigations, for legal, for reputations. it's important for us to be able to maintain that authenticity. If we don't, all the digital recordings that we're making to reduce exposure, to help people with, fight against slip and falls and slip and falls, I think that that's going to be very damaging to an industry because of our reliance on digital evidence. If we can't prove that it's authentic, they're just videos. They're not evidence.
Yeah, okay. Are we heading toward a future where the burden shifts from proving something is fake to proving it's real?
Absolutely. I had a conversation with the American Bar Association earlier this year, and those were the exact words that were given to me, that the legal system is feeling that the burden of truth is moving from those that are trying to prove that something's fake, that they feel like it's shifting because there's so much fake content being created that it's actually twofold. The legal industry is having a challenge trying to identify if things are fake. Deepfakes are becoming so real. But the secondary thing that's happening, which I think is actually the bigger problem, is that the jurists that are sitting in those trials, they see so much fake content that they don't know what's real anymore. And it only takes one or two jurists to say, well, how do we know that's real? And if you can't, that burden of truth, if you can't show through an independent methodology that we know that this is real because of something independent that can prove that jury is going to be hung, because you're going to have one or two people that don't believe it.
Wow. Okay. 5 years from now, will authenticated video be as commonplace as encryption is today? And what's going to drive that change?
Well, I hope so. I think that the amount of content that's being published to YouTube right now, like every minute there's 600 hours of content uploaded. That's just YouTube itself. That's not all the other social media platforms. And right now, about estimated 20% of that is synthetic, meaning it's fully or partially created with artificial intelligence. And I think that that's going to create problems. And so we're not going to know what's real. So when a politician says something, when there's something that happens in a conflict zone, or a CEO, makes some sort of announcement, how are we going to know if that's true or not? And I think there needs to be another layer hey, here's all this content that people are, manifesting and publishing, but what's the real content? When we don't know as a society what is real, then bad people get away with bad things, good people are prosecuted, reputations are destroyed, conflicts are started, the wrong politicians are brought into office because of a fake video. We are in a world where we've moved from the information age, which is basically the new currency of the world, the ability to influence and educate and entertain. We've moved into the disinformation age, where you can use that same information to be weaponized, to manipulate, deceive, and defraud. And it's very easy to do that. It's very difficult to disprove that. And so I think that having video authenticity, when we know that that actually happened at that place, at that time, and that person said that we know that that's real. And I think that's going to be important. I think it's the next wave of anti-cyber security type of technology.
Jason Crawforth, founder, CTO of Swear. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.